Hello, this is Meg McCarthy for CherryPicks at the Athleta store on Main Street in Park City for the 2023 Sundance Film Festival with the incredibly talented cast of Talk to Me. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Yes. I was just telling y'all that this movie left me breathless. It's a wild ride. It's dark, but in the most delicious way, and it's so relevant, and it touches upon so many beautiful themes. So thank you so much for your brilliant work on this project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Little love fest. Sophie, when we first meet Tamia, she's grieving the loss of her mother. In your opinion, how does the societal and social pressures put on her to move on from her grief, something that shouldn't have a timeline, put her in kind of a compromising position to get hurt?
I mean, I guess it's exactly as you say, that pressure to kind of to move on from grief and like reintegrate yourself back into, especially because she's a teenager, so back into high school and feeling like you need to fit in at school and be like this happy kind of false version of yourself. And I guess when you're not being authentic to your experience and how you feel, that's going to like manifest in, you know, these dark desires and this need to escape, which I think is kind of like an intrinsic part of the story. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's so relevant. I think it's something that we all can relate to, you know, being as young adults, you know, that pressure, and then on that layer of the grief that she's dealing with. I just always say that grief does not have a timeline, and we try to put a timeline on it, and we kind of see the destruction that can come from that. Zoe, can you talk about Haley's power dynamic that changes before and after the Riley incident? Because I feel like there's a big shift.
Yeah, good question.
Thank you.
I feel like, I mean, they're so kind of invincible, and unkind is a stretch, but you know, like they're rough and kind of don't really give a shit. And I think it's all fun and games until somebody gets really seriously hurt. And I think I think that's where Haley and Joss differ a little bit more. Is I think the second there's actual potential for serious injury and pain, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
And kind of the laughter quickly drains out of it. And that's something I think, like rhythmically, like what you were talking about before, like the rhythm of the film is like, it gets so raucous and massive, and then you drain it and you kind of like gut the audience a little bit. And I think that was important, like structurally as well, that Haley's a part of the fun, and then I think like that character helps the story. Like we teach the audience, like, don't laugh anymore. Like, this isn't funny anymore. This is serious now. So I feel like that. I mean, it was also, it just felt like instinctively right. Like as a kid whose life is now in danger, that's not funny.
No.
You know?
And that also comes from like such the complexity in your performance, and yours too. Like it's interesting because I was having a discussion with my husband about, it's like, is Haley a bull? Are they like, you know? And it's like, no, it's just sort of getting sucked into that kind of hype, that power that is very seductive when you're young. And then the fear and how frightening it can be when then something goes wrong.
And it comes from pain. It comes from fear. I think it's always fear. Nobody is like that because they are comfortable with themselves. You know, like there's a need. There's a reason there's that need.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Y'all, I would love to know, as we've been talking about the film powerfully, you know, it's full of powerful allegories all over the place. But the beauty is that it allows for such a diverse read, depending on your personal experience or point of view. What were some of the themes that you were drawn to the most when reading the script and then working on the project?
Well, I think when everyone first got the script, like they instantly were drawn to it, like because like I don't want to spoil the ending, but the ending was pretty amazing, and then like just like all the small details in the script that just like translate so well on screen, and it's just like the themes as well, like that Danny and Michael like explored are just like some things that most people don't, and they don't like touch on like the different thing. Like, I think it's so special that they touch on like the mother and the daughter, like and how Mia really grew. Because like everyone, like I'm sure the majority of people have lost someone very special to them, and they can relate to how that feels, and then like also maybe relate to like having someone be hurt, and then you might think it's your fault, you might feel guilty, or you just like you don't know what to do, and it's just like and everyone has a different like story in this film, and it's that it all relates back to like the message that like I don't know what like I would say like the message would be like
I feel like it's like a meditation on mental health and grief, and
exactly
you know that's very much fundamental to the plot, and addiction as well. I think is, you know, a really big
like
part.
falling victim to your vices.
Yes.
Danny said.
And when the lack of support or you know, when Sue like was so quick to blame, it was heartbreaking. But how those moments can have such an impact, even though it's not necessarily Sue's fault. Like, she's looking out for Riley. It's just, I don't know, so layered. Do y'all want to speak to that as well in the back?
Yeah, I'll say something. One of the themes that I really like is definitely the addiction side of things, and drug use. And I think the whole hand is quite obviously like a real metaphor for drugs, and how that starts in teenagers, and how you do it to be cool, you do it to fit in. And then, you know, someone's going to have a bad trip, and like it starts with, I guess, my character, and then for Riley it gets even worse, and like he actually gets hurt. And that tonal shift is really sending a message of like it's not a good idea to muck around with drugs, you know. So I really like that. And then also reading the script, I love the Australian feel of the film. Is like, and I think we all agree on that. Like as Aussies, like, you know, we don't, you know, we read quite a few scripts, I guess, for acting, and we don't see stuff like that very often. Stuff that feels like our home and that feels like it belongs to us.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Would you like to say anything?
Just like, I guess adding on to what these guys said, like, I think a big part of the script that appealed to me was just the idea of peer pressure, more than anything. And like talking to the boys when we were preparing to film, you know, a lot of Josh's character's job is to, you know, make the thing as fun as possible, you know, so that you can see the whole journey of what peer pressure looks like, you know. And then the boys were also like, to me, like, you know, we need you to pull the audience in, make them feel like they're at a party, let them have fun so that we have somewhere to go when things go wrong. And the further, you can stretch that fun.
Sorry, no, you go.
Yeah.
But it's almost like we're holding the audience accountable for like leaning into the fun, and like, and so when it switches, it's like actually like, no, you were enjoying this too.
Because it's kind of like a metaphor on like, let's say it was drugs, like like drinking and all that can be fun, but then there's such a dark side that can just happen just like that, you know, like, and it just really shows.
Pull the rug out from under them as well. I think that's why the boys pushed us so hard the other way, because I think your instinct with a scary movie as well, with a horror film, is to kind of lean into the like darkness and the fear and the like ooh, and you know, the boys were pretty clear that like we don't have to do any of that. Like that's their job. Our job is to make it look so fun, so then you can go and undercut the audience, you know.
It's just that fine line between innocence and tragedy that like happens like in a blink of an eye sometimes. And guys, it was just really incredible, and I loved it so much, and I hope y'all have been celebrating yourselves and each other, and just congratulations. It's truly a remarkable film, and it just feels very uniquely different. I watch a lot of movies, okay? I had to watch a lot of movies for this festival, which I all loved in different ways, but like I said, breathless. I was just left breathless. So congratulations.
Appreciate that.
Thank you so much.